Hello everyone, BORG Dexter here. Hello guys, post-edit BORG Dexter here. And before I start the video, I just want to say I'm gonna be using gameplay footage from Metaphor Refantasio. I'm gonna be using late game grind footage, so if you want to avoid any potential spoilers, I urge you not to watch the video but just listen to it. I'm not gonna include any story bits, but you might see some potential spoilers that you might not want to be. So I just thought you should be warned. Alright, that's it. Back to the video. And in this video, I will talk about drum rolls, please. Video games. Go figure. More specifically about the digital and physical versions of video games, the pros and cons of each type, and some of my personal thoughts and preferences, if you are interested in what I have to say with regards to this subject. And finally, which option is objectively the best for every player. Let's go. First, the physical games. These are games that are on a disc, obviously, with the exceptions of some games from Microsoft mostly, like Starfield, Forza Motorsport and Halo Infinite, which still require an internet connection to be played. The PC platform has long lost a physical version of games, which is a crying shame, even though the PC is a platform with many ways of accessing and preserving games from all platforms and eras. So, what are the advantages of physical games? First and foremost, it is guaranteed ownership. Pay once, own forever. Unlike digital games, you are not left to the whims of publishers and their proclivity to remove their games from various storefronts at random, and sometimes shutting servers down, leading you to lose your whole digital library. Whereas if the game is available in physical form, you can buy it anytime you want. Another thing is, if you get banned from a Steam or PlayStation Network account, for example, you lose all the games you bought over the years up to that point. And even if you are banned for a good and justifiable reason, I see no reason you should lose all the games you legally bought. You should lose access to that account if you did something bad, yes, but there should be a way for you to keep all the digital games you bought up to that point. Another advantage is you can trade, sell or borrow your physical games. While there is some game sharing of digital games on some consoles, the amount of control owning a physical game is unparalleled, and sharing games is much more hassle-free. Another advantage is the price, which makes absolutely no sense, but here we are. Physical games can often be a bit cheaper than digital on release, and even if you are buying used games, you are still better off, price-wise, than buying digital, since the prices usually drop faster than in digital stores, even when it comes to buying new games, not used. Now the next point is a bit of a personal preference, though I am sure there are many players that will agree with me, and this is building a collection. The feeling you get upon gazing over your collection you have built over the years, and the way you reminisce of great and sometimes not so great times you had while playing the games you own, as well as it being nice looking, if displayed well. So, what are the downsides of the physical media in the video game industry? One of the drawbacks that is often mentioned is the environmental impact the physical versions have, meaning less physical games would mean less plastics, less transport, better for the environment. I'm sure that if today all physical media on the planet Earth had completely vanished, never to be seen again, the environment would be better off. That is a fact. But in the end, I wonder how much of a difference would it make, considering all of the other much bigger problems that contribute to the environmental problems. Another disadvantage is that collecting physical games takes up space. Depending on your circumstances, you may not have a lot of space to dedicate to games, and they can add up rather quickly to take a considerable chunk of your living space. A certain lack of convenience is also a downside. From the minor inconvenience of having to switch discs when wanting to play a different game, to the more inconvenient cases like the fact that you do not have to go to a store to buy the game, but can do so directly from your home via a digital store, which can be a big plus, again, depending on your circumstances, not to mention the fact that you can buy a game the moment it is released, which, especially in my case, where I cannot get most physical games on release day, is also a plus for digital games. Discs can also be fragile and break or have rot appear, and while these things can and do occur, this can be curbed by a lot by taking good care of your discs and storing them properly. And in my 20 plus years of collecting physical games, I had maybe 5 discs become unusable over time. Okay, on to digital games now. First, the advantages. The biggest advantage in my opinion is convenience. Buy games from the home, the exact moment they are released, and it's easier and faster to switch games. Then, like I mentioned, they are better for the environment, less plastic, less transport, etc. Also, digital games take up only digital space, not space in the real world. While digital games are usually more expensive, if you buy digital games exclusively, you can often get discounts on various digital fronts, which does serve to alleviate the pricing difference between physical and digital games, at least to a certain point. Another benefit of the digital versions is their indestructibility, so to speak. Disregarding for a bit the fact that digital games can lose support and availability from various publishers, you cannot break or misplace digital games. They are invulnerable in that sense. So, what are some of the drawbacks of digital games? First, and in my opinion the biggest flaw, is the lack of ownership and control. It's much harder to share digital games, not to mention that you cannot trade or sell them if you decide that you do not need them anymore or want to exchange them for other games that you might be interested in. And again, like I mentioned, you are entirely dependent on others to keep your games available. And even though it is unlikely that Steam, Sony or Microsoft will go out of business anytime soon, I still hate the fact that our digital libraries are completely out of our control. You can also lose all your digital games if you are banned from an account or if you are potentially hacked. Furthermore, while digital games do not take up physical space, they do eat up your digital storage faster, and considering the fact that the biggest advantage of digital games is convenience, you might want to invest in a storage solution that will enable you to avoid the hassle of uninstalling and installing digital games often, meaning getting digital storage with ample capacity, which also costs money. I would now like to share my own view and preferences on this subject, and will say what option objectively is the best for everyone that plays video games. I have been gaming from the late 90s and have always heavily leaned towards the physical. What you might not know is that I cannot get physical versions of 99% of games on release date. We are a very small market here and we do not play a lot of games, even today. And this, combined with the poor economic state of the country and high taxes, led to the situation that I find myself in now, where there are not many video game shops and they only get physical versions of only the most popular games, for example like Call of Duty, on release day, and other games are available for purchase weeks after release, if at all. Despite this, I still prefer physical games and only buy digital versions if I'm interested in a game that does not have a physical version. I love that I can display my games, I love getting something physical for the money I spent, a moment of silence for the olden days where you would get a thick manual booklet for every game. But most of all, I love the amount of control that physical games allow me. I can borrow, gift, sell or trade my games whenever and however I want. I can play my games without the internet. Another great benefit of living here is that I have internet disconnects too often. I do not mind getting off my ass and swapping discs when needed. I also do not mind waiting weeks for physical versions of games, whether I buy them from shops in the country or from shops abroad via internet. I would gladly go to a local shop to get a game on release day if I had that option. My town used to have several video game stores over the years, but all of them got closed. So yeah, I can't afford that luxury. So when it comes to me, it's physical first. But what is objectively the best option for everyone? It is to always have both options, freedom and opportunity of choice. I would never want to take away either of these options, because taking away choice benefits only those that do not have any interest in video games other than pure monetary profit. Even if one type of games had a 90% of share of all games sold, both options should always remain, and as things stand now, the share is not so heavily in favor of digital games as many people seem to think. This is especially true in Sony's first-party game sales. Also, keep in mind that any kind of microtransactions like skins or various boosts are counted towards total digital sales, which sometimes leads results to be skewed in the digital sales favor. All the bean counters that would do everything to maximize profits, like firing employees after having record sales just to save some money and improve the numbers for shareholders a tiny bit, would love nothing more than to have all games go digital only, as it provides them with all of the control in, as of yet, a still fairly unregulated market in terms of consumer protection. Either way, I truly hope that we will always have a choice and be free to choose one way or the other, as that is always best for all consumers in any market. Okay guys, that's gonna be it for this video. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down, and let me know down in the comments below. Do you agree with my assessment, and what are your preferences and why? Until next time, see ya!